Hi, this is George from Upfish, your marketing automation expert. Today I'm going to show you a pretty straightforward scenario on how to upload and update files for your assistants in OpenAI, or basically files for your custom GPTs. Now the reason for this is because over the next few weeks I'm going to be doing a bunch of hopefully pretty cool videos on taking your automation up a level by letting these custom GPTs handle routine tasks using knowledge you've uploaded. But a big part of that is actually making sure you have the right knowledge there. And now, so a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll go into the interface. It looks a lot like this. And they'll come to the files, or they'll come to their assistants, and they'll just manually upload a file, And the problem with that is, if you have an automation that, for example, every week gets a Google Analytics report, puts it in there, pretty soon you've got like 30, 40 files that the GPT has to go through every single time. And all you really need is the most recent data. So what this system does is it basically creates a catalog of files that you might have, and then tracking those, it will either update them when you make updates, or it will upload them as a new file. All right, so the first place to get started, as ever, is within Airtable. Okay, so I've created this base with two tables. One of them has my assistants. So basically, I'm going to be having an automation series set up. I'm going to have a product marketing assistant, a growth marketing assistant, sales, customer success, finance. I have the IDs where I put in the ID of the assistant according to OpenAI. I have a link to file for any files that they connect to, and then a link to a Google Drive where I store all of the files in place. So I'll go into that in more depth later. And then I also have another tab here with files. So basically, whenever, let's just say, for example, I have a template of emails that I would use to respond to people, I'd have the name of the Google Doc here, the ID once it's been uploaded to OpenAI. So this is the OpenAI ID, the Google ID for the Google ID of the file, a web view link so I can click it, open it, make changes. Notes, if I want to have notes for myself when I look on this and what it does. And then again, it connects to the assistants here. So it will tell me this file is often used in this assistant's workflow and vice versa. And then crucially as well, I have a last modified here just to make sure that I know which ones are up to date. The other thing in order to get this set up and running that you need is a Google Drive folder set up. So here you'll see I have a pretty basic Google Drive folder. It's called Custom GPTs. So I have different ones for all of the GPTs I'll be running. And so within each of these folders, I'll have the files that I want the custom GPT to have access to, my assistant. So I want to have that all in a safe space I can manage. So once you've got all of this set up, then it's time to start working on the actual workflow. Okay. So we'll start off by doing a Google Drive module where we'll be basically watching files in a folder. So essentially, whenever a file within that folder is modified, we'll get alerted to it. So I want you to think of it like this. If I have a file in my sales GPT of commonly asked sales questions, and let's just say I have it in there, and then one day I want to make an update to it. So once I've made some updates to it, I can leave everything the same. I can leave the name the same. I can leave the location the same. I've updated the file, but the last modified time of that file will change to, like 1 second ago. And when those changes happen, this module kicks into place. It says, okay, the file has been updated. What do we need to do? So we watch files by modified time, and then I'll select the file to choose, which is, I think I just brought it up. Yeah, it's Custom GPTs. Okay, so what that will do is it will look for new files, recently modified files. So every time I make a change, it will pop up, and then I need to get that file information. So we'll download a file after that, and we will map the file ID to the file ID we got in the first module. Okay. Once this happens, we need to check our Airtable. So what is the point? Why do we have the Airtable in here? The Airtable is to make sure to see if this file already exists or not. So if you remember our Airtable here, I have a file. So let's just say that I have one here called a sales playbook. Okay. And it has a Google ID, an ID from OpenAI. What it'll do is it will have a look. It will see, does this file already exist? Am I modifying something or creating something new? And then if it's modifying something, it will update the file in GPT. If I'm creating something new, it will upload a new file and put a new entry in here into my database. Okay. So I'll come back here. What I want to be doing is connecting it to my base, which is called Custom GPTs. The table is in files. And we'll just put a simple formula in here. So basically what we want here now is just a simple formula to let us know, does this already exist? So we'll say something like if the Google ID matches the Google ID from the Google Drive. So I'll change this to Google ID equals file ID number. Okay, so I run that, and then two things are going to happen. Either it exists or it doesn't. So we're going to put in a router, and here we'll say file already exists. Off, and then so for the file already exists, there'll be basically, well, there'll be information returned. It'll either be a blank bundle or there'll be bundled information. So we'll say here where the basically any of these exist. So ID exists. Okay, that means it does exist. And if the ID doesn't exist, file doesn't exist, then the ID won't exist. I'll say basic operators does not exist. Okay, so we'll go with the file not existing first. If the file doesn't exist, great. What we want to do is we want to upload it to OpenAI. So we'll come here to OpenAI and we will select upload a file. We map it to the Google Drive downloaded file. If you can click here on map, I'll just keep the file name as it is the file data. So we'll just keep it as mapped, and it will be uploaded to Assistants. Press OK. And then we want to create a record in Airtable to just let us know there is now a file in the database. So we come here back to our Custom GPTs tab, and we'll map it out to files. So the file name is the name from Google Drive. File ID is the file ID from Google Drive. Oops, sorry, no. File ID is the OpenAI one. So this is this one, file ID here. So this is the ID of the file within the OpenAI system. And then the Google ID is the ID as far as Google is concerned. So that's the file ID. The link is the web view links in case I just want to click it and open it and have a look at any time. Notes, we don't need to put any notes in. Great, so press OK, that's done. Now, if the file doesn't exist, what we need to do, if the file already exists, now there's no easy way to update or replace. So what we're going to do here, if the file already exists, is delete the old copy and then re-upload it with a new version. So from here, we'll come to OpenAI and we're going to make an API call. Okay, and I've already researched this. So the files that we want to use, the URL is /v1/files. And then the ID. So again, the ID from OpenAI. So that will be this one here. And this is a delete. And content type application JSON. And that's all we need. So what that will do is it will find the file with that ID, delete it. And once it's deleted, then we can just re-upload the new one. So I can select this branch here, copy paste it, and we'll just repeat that here. So it's deleted the old version. Then what we want to do is upload a new version. So I'll get rid of this filter here. Okay, the new version of it's from the Google Drive, and it's going to basically, instead of creating a record this time, we want to update a record because it already exists in Airtable. So we update the record, we choose our base, Custom GPTs, table, files, record ID is the ID we got from the first instance of Airtable, which is here. And what we want to do now is just basically the name will stay the same, the Google ID doc is the same, the link is the same, the notes are the same. The only thing that's changing is the OpenAI ID. So we'll replace it with the new file ID and it will work. So if you want to see how this runs in practice, we'll do a test run now. So here I have a folder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a new Google Doc, blank document, and we'll call this Custom GPT Test. No special characters. This is a test. Okay, great. So I've done this. It's now saved in my Google Drive. If I go back to make and I just choose where to start, because we're watching all files, so I'll just choose where to start, all, press OK, and then I'll run this once, and it's found the file, it's downloaded it. It doesn't exist yet. So as you can see here, it's found the file in the folder, it's downloaded it, search the records, it doesn't exist yet. Okay, so then it's decided, okay, let's upload it and add it to Airtable. So if I check my Airtable, we'll see here we have the Custom GPT test. We have the file ID, as far as OpenAI is concerned, the Google ID. We have a link that we've added in so we can choose to see what's written. Okay, and if I come into OpenAI and I refresh my files, we'll see that it has now been uploaded to my files to be used. Okay, now this is already here, so let's imagine I come back to my Google Drive. Let's just imagine that something has popped up. I've got more information. I've developed my product more. I've developed my pricing more. I've got more FAQs or whatever. I want to make some updates. I make it to the original document. This is a test. This is a test. This is a test. So I'm adding more information or changing it, but the rest of it stays the same. The name stays the same. The file ID stays the same, but the file is updated. Now when I put this into OpenAI, I don't want it to be a replication. I want it to delete the old one, put up the new one. So I have some updates made. We return to the make scenario. Okay. And once again, I'll just choose where to start because it was going to run poorly. So now when I run this, it should go in the top branch. Okay, so we can see it's found the file. Okay, it searched the record. It already exists in the Airtable, the old version of it, and now it's uploaded the new version and it's updated the Airtable. So if I come to the Airtable, we have a new file ID. I come to my OpenAI, I'll refresh it, and we have a new file which is just uploaded 624. This is when I'm making the video, so this is exactly just a few seconds ago it's been uploaded. So now there's a new file ID, but the file, the Custom GPT test, is basically the same. So if I have an assistant which is always using Custom GPT test, for example, it won't be having to draw on 6 versions of the same thing. It's always going to use the latest one. So it's, again, a pretty small automation, but a pretty useful one, because updating these files in such a way means that when you're really automating the entirety of your business, you can keep things very clean and all within one Google Drive folder. Again, I'm pretty excited about this. Over the next few weeks, these videos are going to get much more complex as I bring in custom GPTs, specifically ones for product marketing, growth marketing, sales, design, all of this stuff, to show you how to take automation to another level. And I'll be adding all of this new stuff to the course, which is available on Gumroad. So please check out my bio for my Gumroad page, and like and subscribe for the upcoming editions of this, which I think are going to be pretty cool. Right, thank you for your time.